contribution to the work of the
foundation.
Because,
I did?
I mean, yes, no, because
I'm not remunerated.
No, that's a good thing. You've added your piece. But the thing is, you see, there has, as Susan indicated, there has been some research, there's been the discussion, but the question you've just asked has just brought to mind the importance of actually opening up a dedicated line of research on what is the extent of socialization, or whether there's any differential in socialization between boys and girls. Because I told you, my response to you was hypothesizing based on observation, but we need to take that into the realm of serious research.
No, I really
and from
so.
there to move it in terms of what are the implications for the types of stimulations and the approaches that need to be taken, if any, on the basis of a gender differential.
My problem on this is this. We know this to be a fact. You just said that the data shows it. Yet we put boys and girls to do the common entrance when we know that the girls are farther along in terms of the development process than the boys. We're creating failures, aren't we?
Yeah, although that from a different angle too. One of the innovations in CXC now that we're discussing with governments, and we just had a stakeholder consultation involving representatives of national PTAs, the teachers' unions, top officials of ministries of education, is on a regional common entrance exam that we believe will not just be a replacement of the traditional common entrance exam. In fact, we call it the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, not an exam, we call it an assessment, because it's a whole new paradigm in testing and assessment, and it is going to involve significant in school and in class assessment and practice done by teachers, assessed by teachers, that will help to give us a better learning outcome at the end of the primary experience.
When I was in college in England during the 80s, they introduced continuous assessment. And I've always wondered why it isn't something that in the Caribbean, you know, we leave everything to this massive exam at the end. Whereas you knew on a continuous assessment basis that every 2 weeks you are being assessed on what you just learned. Not something you have to wait for 10 weeks or so long away. And I've always wondered why
we always lag in innovation in some respects, but I believe we are set to actually create a global best practice in this, because not only are we introducing continuous assessment, but the nature of the continuous assessment that is going to take place is not going to be purely academic. It's going to look at the focus will be on competencies. And those competencies will include a range of literacies, including civic literacies. So students will have projects to undertake for which they will receive marks, and those projects can be social in nature. It can involve participation in sports and community activities. So a group of common, say grade 4 students can be going to a home for the elderly, and over a period of 2 months giving voluntary service in there, and that can count towards it. But the real revolution in it is the fact that a class of students will be required to design in groups their own examinations in English and mathematics and science, and for them to exchange those exams and sit the exams that have been prepared by their peers and mark the exams themselves, with the teacher serving as a moderator. Now, you know, many of the children have a fear of examinations. I think that is going to put you in a whole different relationship to the assessment question. You begin to understand you cannot create an exam the content of which you do not understand. So it is really going to, put them in a different relationship to the knowledge and material that has to be mastered.
Let me ask you something about the whole question of vocational studies. I'm of the opinion that it's an area that continues to be devalued, almost berated. I'll tell you why I say that. Ever since I was at school, if you wanted to go and do the then woodwork, metalwork and stuff, if you were considered quote-unquote bright, the teacher looked at you strange. Why do you need to do that?
Yes.
How are we going to change this mode of education that seems to say to people who have a better academic grasp that they're better than the person who turns around to build their $1 million house?
You know, the sadder part of the question you're asking me is that the solution for that has been in place for almost 30 years.
Really?
Yes. When CSEC was put in place, that was then the replacement for the GCE exam. unlike the Cambridge model, you had two streams in CSEC. You had the general and the technical. So the general would be the quote-unquote academic subjects like English, math, science, and the technical was areas like industrial arts and everything. These areas were put on the same psychometric level and content level as the general subjects. And yet you have had, just because of that attitudinal thing you spoke about, the uptake on it has been very low. You know, in music, for example, if we consider the cohort of students every year who sit CSEC English, which is our largest enrollment, so consider that the baseline. 0.8% of those students sit music, and in several of the technical subjects, the participation is under 2-3%.
And let's face it, we speak of
and yet we talk about TVET being so important.
I went to the music aspect. We speak of all the big artists.
Yeah, and the
young people
important
aspire.
and the cultural advantage and niche opportunities for the Caribbean in that area.
Let's take our final break now. This is up next, and we're certainly having a great discussion here on child development. We'll be back for our final moments with Susan Branca and Dr. Didicus Jules. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Back for our final moments on this edition of Up Next with Susan Branca and Dr. Didicus Jules. We're speaking of the formation of a foundation for early child development, in the Caribbean, and this was launched here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the past week. As we come into our last segment, I just want to finish up that area of skills and its importance. You know, even in the United States of America, the last financial downturn has proven that the people who had skills have been the survivors. The one with 2 and 3 degrees are not finding employment. But how do we get that message across?
Well, we've just come through a major exercise in CXC. We set up a high-level committee that was chaired by the Chief Education Officer in Jamaica, Grace McLean, to take a fresh look at TVET policy and its implication for CXC. And that committee included persons like some regional private sector people. It included the Association of Secondary School Principals, and it also included the ILO representative for the Caribbean. And they've made some really fundamental proposals that have been adopted and implemented in CXC now. One of them is to make a number of changes to our technical subjects that will see a closer alignment or a better fit between the technical and the general, and that will raise the esteem of the technical subjects. So, for example, you know, we have school-based assessments as part of the exam assessment procedures in our exams. The SBAs in the technical subjects will be CVQs, Caribbean Vocational Qualifications. So if you're doing, say, CSEC Industrial Arts Woodwork, your SBA would be a CVQ in carpentry or joinery, which means that when you receive that subject, not only do you have a solid academic understanding of all the principles about woodwork